Yes.
We are live.
Salbanani babukeli bemathebeleleni television nabe JCTV siyalibingelela ngentambama yanamuhla siza kini ngise Johannesburg angihambi ngedwa ngihambe necolleague yami uKenan Rusike sibuye njalo sihamba lo Velile Moyo esizame kakhulu izolo ukuthi sixhumane laye aze lapha kule broadcast sangamtholi kodwa ke namhla size la ephila linjani Kenny, over to you.
All right, magadi vatariri veZimbabwe pano paJCTV Zimbabwe tiri kuchingamidza kuchirongwa chino patichange tichitaura nemutauriri webato rinonzi Mthwakazi Rebuplic. Takazama nezuro kuti tinge tinavo pano pachirongwa asi hazvina kunge zvichiitika, asi tine chishuwo chokuti nhasi tichange tinavo vari pano and tichange tichitaura navo. And handisi kufamba ndega, ndina sawira wangu nomazulu Moyo achange achititaurira nerurimi rwechindevele, inini ndichange ndichiuya kwamuri nerurimi rwechishona pamwe chete nechirungu. To all that are watching us, our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be talking to the spokesperson of Mthwakazi Rebuplic Party live on Matabeleland TV Live and on JCTV Africa. So we are going to dive into the question. And as I said, I'm not flying solo. I'm together with my sister, Nomazulu Moyo. Let's hear from her as she take it away, and also welcome our guest, Babu Moyo, who is with us. Babu Moyo, welcome to the program.
Babu Velile Moyo, siyakubingelela. Okay.
For inviting me.
Okay, all right. As we continue, Babu Moyo. Okay, over to you, Noma. Over to you.
Sakwamlingela ehlelweni lethu leMathebeleleni Television Live le JCTV Africa Mr Moyo babukela isihamba lo Mr Moyo weMthwakazi Rebuplic Party Mthwakazi Rebuplic Party abanengi liyayazi party yaseMathebelelendi eholwa ngupresident umqondisi Moyo ubaba ovela laphana eMatopo kwele Mathebelelendi eMandebeleni Velile Moyo zazise kubabukeli bethu.
Ngibingelele kubabukeli, ngibonga ukwamukelwa njalo ehlelweni.
Babu Moyo siza kuwe
oyisikhulumeli seMthwakazi Rebuplic Party.
Babu Moyo siza kuwe namuhla ngeva kwezinkinga esibone libhekana lazo emavikini ambalwa adlulileyo lapho sabona khona kubotshwa amaqembu abanye beqembu lenu abayi9 okuthiwa libabize ngeMRP 9. Sicela usitshele kabanzi ngalolu daba.
Yebo kunjalo ke njengebandla leMthwakazi Rebuplic Party kulamaviki adlule siye sahlangabezana ke nokuboshwa mhlawumbe ngithi ukugwetshwa kwamalunga ethu angu9 ebesiwabiza sithi MRP 9 kusukela ke ngonyaka odlule ngoMbimbitho lapho ababoshwa khona ke eBulawayo Police Central khona laphana koBulawayo ngemva kokuba ke ephakame baya khona kwaBulawayo ukuthi ke ayobuza ngama-whereabouts kumbe ukuthi umongameli weMthwakazi Rebuplic Party engabe ekuphi. Ngichaza ukuthi ke isusa lokhu ke kwakuyikuba ke su oludlule kwakuke kwaba ke le attempted abduction kamongameli weMRP umqondisi Moyo khona ke emzini wakhe ephumula lapho ke okwenza ukuthi abaleke kwasekusiba lokukhulumisana ke ebandleni ke ngoba kwase kube lesehlakalo esinjalo betshalana ke amalunga ebandla ukuthi ke sekulesehlakalo esinjalo begijima ngobusuku. So ekuseni ke basebevuka ukuthi ke baye epolice station koBulawayo njengelungelo lomuntu wonke ukuthi-ke mawungabe kunenkinga kufanele ukuthi usondeleke kwezokuphepha-ke kobulawayo bayebuza-ke ngokuthi-ke engabe ekuphi umongameli ngoba-ke ebusuku kuye kwaba-ke le-attempted abduction obe ucatshangelwa kumbe okubonakala ukuthi-ke bekungabantu abe-state security akade beze lapha ebusuku. So njengoba sazi ukuthi-ke kwezokuphepha kumbe ezomthetho ma umuntu engabe eboshwa-ke kumele ukuthi aboshwe emini mhlawumbe-ke kube ngendlela-ke abantu abeza-ke ngokusemthethweni ukuthi sizokubopha ngecala elinje nangecala elinje. So lokho kwamangalisa abantu abaningi ukwenza ukuthi bavukele e-police station ukuthi kathi umuntu walandwa phakathi kobusuku ngabe uhlupho lukuphi. So njengalokhu kwakucatshangela ukuthi kungabantu abe-state abakwenzileyo lokho abakuphepha kwe-state. So kwenza ukuthi-ke baye e-police station ukuthi bayebulisisa ukuthi angabe khona uboshiwe khona la e-central kumbe kukhona lapha abamuse khona. So kusho ukuthi-ke ekufikeni kwabo e-central kwaba lo kungaboniso linye namapholisa okwagcina-ke kusiba lesivukampunzana esayensi ukuthi-ke kugcine sekuboshwa-ke abanye abangu-9 abebandla lethu. Kodwa-ke ngaleso sikhathi kwakunabantu abaningi mhlawumbe ababe yenze lokho esingabiza sithi yi-picketing ukuthi nje ningene endaweni ngokushesha-ke uma nxa kungabe kunekathazo eninayo. So kwathi-ke kulokho-ke sebekwenzile lokho-ke kwase kuboshwa-ke amalunga angu-9 awe-Mthwakazi Rebuplic Party ahlanganisela kabadala nentsha bavalelwe entolongweni okwayenza ukuthi-ke behlale cishe inyanga ezinamaviki engaphakathi besancitshwa i-bail. Kwaze kwagcina-ke ngemva kwaleso sikhathi-ke betholile i-bail okwenza ukuthi-ke baphume-ke nge-bail yayinama-conditions. Ama-conditions akhona ayesithi kumele baripote e-police station every week kulelo langa babeliphiwe. So bakwenza konke lokhu-ke phakathi kwabo bonke bengu-9 akekho noyedwa owayephula-ke imithetho ye-bail. Balandela imithetho ye-bail njengoba injalo until the day abagwetshwa khona. Kusho ukuthi-ke kube nezikhathi eziningi lapho-ke ababonakale khona besiya enkantolo njengokuba-ke siyazi ukuthi ma usiya enkantolo uyafika bangabe inkantolo ingangenanga iphiwe elinye ilanga bayingabe ingenile iyadluliselwa futhi phambili kulokhu saqhutsheka-ke sibiza sithi kuthonisiswa kudingwa labofakazi yonke into isenziwa ngaleyo ndlela-ke ujaji ethatha-ke imininingwane ukuze akwazi ukuthi andulele kumbe azi ukuthi-ke adecide ngaleli cala. So kusho khona ukuthi-ke iye yaqhuba le ndaba cishe unyaka wonke bethisha-ke e-police station bezibika njalo futhi-ke bethonisiswa. Bese kusithi-ke kuviki eliphelile leliyana sebesiya-ke okuyikho ukuthi bathi befika lapho-ke basebevalelwa kulolo suku kwakungolwesine. Kwathiwa-ke kuzalindwa ukuthi-ke baphiwe-ke isentence yabo, i-outcome yesentence yabo ngoMvulo olandelayo. Basebevalelwa-ke ekhami. Okunye lakho okungasiphathanga kahle khona lokho ukuthi kathi abantu abavele kade bekubheyili kungani ma kumele ukuthi kungakayenziwa-ke kungakathathwa-ke isinqumo bahle bavele bavalelwe phakathi. Lokho kuhle kwasibonisa ukuthi kusho ukuthi-ke kukhona okushaya amanzi ngoba bavele bavalelwa ngaphakathi-ke babhadla-ke kusukela nge-Thursday i-weekend lonke kwaze kwafika kuMvulo-ke lapho kwamele ukuthi-ke icala lingene baphiwe-ke isentence yabo. Kusenzakalanga-ke lokho kwaqhutshekiselwa phambili-ke safika-ke usuku olwalubekiwe ngisacabanga kwakunge-Thursday kunge-Wednesday. And then-ke ekufikeni lapho-ke njalo futhi akusayenzakalanga kwathiwa kusasa kwakhona kulolo suku abaluphiwe kwathi kukhulunywa ngaleyo ndaba kwaba lo mkhululo wokuthi wena-ke bazophiwa-ke isigwebo sokuthi bazayenza i-community service. Kodwa ukuthi-ke kusiza ngosuku olulandelayo saphuma isigwebo sesithi-ke abangu-7 baphiwe 33 months okusho 33. Bese kusithi-ke ababili baphiwe-ke i-36 months okusho 36. So-ke iyo lento eyenzakale kungolesihlanu lolesisuka kulo sikhuluma nje i-MRP9 ingaphakathi enkantolo lapho ke asebegwetshele ukukhona ukuthi baqede lezi izinyanga ezibaliweyo. Ngiyabonga.
All right. Mr. Moyo, are you clear?
Sibone kulabo mama labo.
Okay. We wanted to hear from Mr. Moyo. You are saying that these people are being arrested and they are arrested at night. Okay. And what do you say about the state of affairs in terms of how your members are being treated and what crime are they being charged for? What are the contents of the charges that they are facing in terms of the law of the country? And are you happy at all with the way how your members are being treated and also the way how your leader is being treated by the state security agencies or by the law enforcement officers agencies in Zimbabwe? Are you at all happy with how they are treating your members? And then we'll come back to Norma.
Okay, what I can simply say is if you track the events as to how things happened, you will also, let me just take you back to how this thing started. That was a day before the initial evening attempted abduction. There was a scenario in one of the farms in Tabazinduna that belonged to a man by the name Mr. Davis, which we all remember it was now under siege as another person of ZANU-PF was attempting to hijack that farm despite the papers for the court verdict that was actually giving Mr. Davis the right to remain in the farm. I think we all remember the case that was between Mr. Davis and Floyd Ambrose. That is then when we as MRP, we said let's go and intervene here so that we defend Mr. Davis from the internal attack by a member of ZANU-PF, which we believe he had a backup from high-profile people who had actually been giving him that courage to also remain in the farm despite the court verdict. Therefore, it is after that when they had intervened in that farm, in the very evening there was an attempted abduction to the leader, Mthwakazi Moyo, of which we believe that that was none of a criminal offense from the side of Mthwakazi Moyo, but it was more of a political action that was taken by the government to register their power and their prowess in terms of how they defend their own people and also how they stand when it comes to the issues of resources and land, of which resources and land is one of the things that we're actually fighting for, because we believe that there is a lot of misdemeanor when it comes to the issues of land and how the government of Zimbabwe has redistributed land and the issues of land grabs and how people are getting kicked out of their lands, despite, regardless of who the person is. Mr. Davis is a white person whom we were trying to defend, who was being kicked out of the land. So those are the issues that are part of the package of the things that we're fighting for as Mthwakazi Rebuplic Party. We are fighting for the control of our resources and also for the right and the respect of the property of people. We are saying no to elements of political influence in taking over other people's resources and belongings. So basically, this is the background of how this thing started to build up to become a case that led up to the arrest of our people that now we see them in prison. So in a way, I can say this is a political action. It has nothing to do with a judicial or a criminal element. Our people were arrested just for demanding their right or their right to know about the whereabouts of the president. So in any way, we view this as a political activity that was happening, none at all of a criminal activity.
All right. Over to you, Noma.
Mr. Moyo, sibone abantu besifazane abangomama bebotshwa kuba affecta kanjani lokho imindeni yabo labantwana babo. I can imagine ngingumzali ngisejele ngalesi sikhathi ngigwetshe 3 years ukuthi how does it affect the families of the MRP 9?
Yeah, kubuhlungu kakhulu lokho ke sikuzwayo. Ngoba laphana ngisho ukuthi laphana sinabadala laphana and into khona ayenzi sense ukuthi mawubakhangela abadala labana abantu abadala abadala abakhulile abantu abadala bephiwe 3 years ejele into lale buhlungu kakhulu and it's unfair. Ngoba as it is, we are also in communication with some of the family members as the party. We're getting a lot of calls from some of the family members as well. Because of the decision that you're taken. Babengabantu abadala ngumama osebotshelwe ubaba wangakwakhe ekhaya umama semdala sebebanjwa ngama-BP into ezifana lazona lezo and aba-understand ukuthi umuntu owahamba esiyabuza emapholiseni ngama-whereabouts kulicala yini ukuthi ube yi-political activist osekusenza ukuthi abantu bavalelwe baphiwe isigwebo esifana ne-3 years. It's so painful and so touching when we hear from the families how they feel about this whole thing. Therefore, when we look at this, we see that there was an error in the way this whole thing was handled by the courts or by the state. Because when we are handling such matters that have legal ramifications, it's important to also make some considerations that are very important. There is no decision in any court that taken without a consideration of some of the most particular 3 elements. That is the seriousness of the crime. You know, you fail to understand the gravity and what led to that kind of a decision. The seriousness of the crime, what was the seriousness of the crime about? And then number 2, the circumstances of the offender. Have they even looked at the circumstances of the offender? Some of the people that are there are people that are living on medication. After they were arrested last month for almost a month, over a month, some of them, when they came out, they had a health problem because even in jail, in those cells, there is no element of good hygiene. And those people were not given right medication or they were not treated when they were inside. Some of them are using medication, BP and all those things. But the circumstances of the offender was not considered in all this. That's why they had to do an umbrella charge. That umbrella charge on its own says a lot in terms of the judge and how he evaluated the whole crime. Because if the seriousness of the crime was not considered, what was the impact of this? We're not even much told about it. And the circumstances of the offender, what is it? What's the health of those people? And what is around them? What's with their families and everything? Do they have families that they are taking care of? Those are the issues that are considered. And also the societal reactions. What is going to be the reaction of the society? Those are the elements that we're looking at, which are also creating a rift and contributing to what is happening. There is already some animosity that is developing in Zimbabwe. Those things were created by political players who decided to create some elements that are going to make people to be always angry. And they continue to use the state organ, which is the court, to act up upon these issues, which also have ramifications when it comes to societal reactions. This is provoking also the society to react on these elements, of which is a dangerous move by a person who is a magistrate who needs to take a cautious decision in light of the people and in light of the society and the communities where he's making that kind of a decision. And the third element are the interests of the society, which I think they go together with the reactions. So what are the interests of the society when it comes to this decision? and the people that have been sentenced. The reaction of the families here, they have already developed an attitude against the state because they see that as a way of persecuting their own family members. And the society and the community people, they are looking at it and seeing it as a way to persecute their community members. So those are the elements that Zimbabwe is failing to deal with them in a more mature approach, which continue to escalate the tensions that are existing within the country, which even if you try to come up with viable solutions, they will still push you to the limits. So those are some of the challenges that we see that are associated with this decision that we faced right now as we're talking. I'm not sure if I did answer your questions correctly there.
Where to from here? Where to from here? Since sebegwetshiwe sibonile begwetshwa athina ama-plans nje MRP lizalwisana lakho njani lokho selike laxhumana yini labe human rights ilizwe ukuthi lingasizana njani kumbe sezikhona ezinye inhlangano eselizamile ukuxhumana lazo ukuthi lithole usizo likhulule laba bantu?
Well, since it's something that happened on Friday and it's over a weekend, hoping that Monday comes up as a working day. But the unfortunate part of it is that this is much more of a political decision that has more substance in it. So since the political decisions, it's a political decision, it will actually need quite a lot of different approaches to it. As you say, we'll do a lot of consultations. For now, we are still waiting on the lawyers to give us direction because they are still examining the papers. And after they have examined the papers, then I believe they'll be able to give us direction. But in terms of the other approaches, we will engage even the government itself. We are going to engage them, because they are also part of this, and engagements are also part of solution finding. So those are other elements that we are actually looking at in terms of coming up with a solution.
All right. Continuing, Mr. Moyo, we saw a video that went viral the past week of some of your members. I don't know if you summoned them, that were at the Pretoria embassy, and they hoisted your flag at the embassy. My question to you is, are you not aggravating the already existing tense situation in Zimbabwe that will further make your members or your supporters to be targeted by these state agencies? Are you not aggravating the situation which is already tense? And we know there is a history that you have actually mentioned. So my question is, are you not aggravating another form of anger for your members and for some of the supporters that would want to speak out about these injustices?
Well, demonstrating and elements of picketing are part of the right of each and every person, but our main focus wasn't really on that. That wasn't really on that, what happened there at the embassy. It may actually probably be one of those things that were triggered by the political decision that was taken in Zimbabwe. You know, those are some of the elements that you made. But that is an issue that we have not reserved for media discussion. That's something that we, because it happened at the embassy of Zimbabwe, and it's something that we are looking at it and we are raising up with the state. So we have made a decision that we are not going to discuss this issue over Twitter, but we'll discuss it with the state. So.
Okay. Noma? Noma, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Siqhubekele phambili. Siyabona eZimbabwe kulungiselela ukhetho oluzoba khona next year. As MRP, are you going to contest for the elections?
Yes. Elections are elections, and we are preparing. Actually, we are doing all that we can to prepare for the elections. But we are also cognizant of the fact that Zimbabwean elections, as much as we are looking at them from a democratic point of view, we are also looking at other elements that are associated with the elections, which we believe are very pertinent when it comes to dealing with elections in Zimbabwe. But what I can simply say is in 2023, we will be contesting the elections in Zimbabwe. Yes, we will be contesting the elections in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Noma?
Are we going to see MRP working with other political parties in order to try to win over ZANU-PF? Yes. Angizokela ngabe off mic.
From your side, Lomazon, we have our mandate as MRP, and are you hearing?
Mr. Moyo, ngithi singabona i-MRP ihlangana lamanye ama-political parties eZimbabwe ukuze awine against ZANU-PF.
We're trying to get Mr. Moyo back on the line, but just to highlight some of the things that Mr.
Issue of Ushangana is the second subject, because I believe now we know that we are. So I'm not sure ukuthi ukuhlangana, do you mean ukuhlangana neZANU-PF, ukuhlangana nani exactly?
Bekakhuluma ngendaba yama coalition. Are you at all happy to have a coalition with any other parties so that you can form maybe a formidable team to fight against the
The issue of coalitions, it all depends when it comes to coalitions, what we are coaliting for, whether I'm using the right English. But we have not been approached by anyone for any coalition at all. Of now, we are working together, working alone as MRP to win elections in 2023. We have not have any political party approaching us for any coalition. Maybe if they come for any coalition, then we can start discussing from there.
Okay, ngiyabonga Mr. Moyo uphendula leyo mbuzo. Can you over to you?
All right. Mr. Moyo, let's say there's a question here that I was asked by one of my viewers when I came up with this, when we announced the interview, and his question was like, in the event that you win as MRP and you win all the Matabeleland seats and councils and councils and wards, what will be your next plan of action if you achieve such a goal as a party? What would be your plan of action? Are you at all going to then decide to be a separate state from the current one that is there, or you are planning on trying to unite the divide that is already there between the Mashonaland and Matabeleland and nation building? What is your plan of action if you win all the Matabeleland seats to your party?
Look, Kenan, there are many issues that are involved when it comes to this. One of the issues that we are fighting for is a separation from Zimbabwe, and this is aggravated by the current and the previous elements that we have experienced in the context of Zimbabwe. Something that has to do with justice, something that has to do with marginalization and unfair treatments. We can name all the things, of which we are looking and hoping that the state itself will initiate a way out of this serious issue that has affected our people. I mean, I'm talking of something that started way back in the early 80s. Yes. It's now over 40 years and the government has absolutely done nothing to resolve past injustices and also past differences between Matabeleland and Mashonaland. And of all this time, people have been looking at this and hoping that maybe one day, that's why you see in the formation of MTC in the early year 2000, you'll discover that there was a unanimous vote for the MTC, 100% vote for the MTC. The whole of Matabeleland, including Bulawayo, voted 100% for the MTC. That shows you that the people of Matabeleland were eager and were ready to embrace change, to see the democratization of the whole country as per se. Unfortunately, we saw that the elements within even the opposition were beginning to resurface, to show themselves that there is a bias or there is an element of a two-party, or sorry, of a two-nation state within Matabeleland, where the people of Matabeleland are not given first priority in everything. They're second-class citizens. You talk of any hope of a person from Matabeleland becoming a president. They're absolutely close to none at all. You talk of various government institutions. It has to be someone from Mashonaland who heads, and then they take another one to become the vice president or the vice whatever it is, or assistant. You look at that scenario and then you ask yourself, looking at what the people of Matabeleland have suffered and the statements that continue to be uttered. I'll take you back to Holland, who once said the people of Matabeleland are rustlers of cattle. When she was talking about the people of Matabeleland, we talk of the people like Mthwakazi, who said the people of Matabeleland are foreigners in Zimbabwe. And those people had to say all those things with impunity. No one brought them to book. We heard Mthwakazi saying the righteous minority. You know, that element of making the people of Matabeleland a minority and second-class citizens leaves a lot to be desired, and to sit down and to think, is there any genuine element of cohesion within Zimbabwe? Or Zimbabwe is a two-divided nation, as it was long back before 1980, amalgamation of Matabeleland and Mashonaland. You understand that? Or maybe let's say 1890, or the time of where Matabeleland was Mashonaland was colonized, and then Matabeleland was colonized, and then after that they had to put the states to become one Zimbabwe in 1980 in the form of the independence. So you ask yourself, the issues that led to the amalgamation of Matabeleland and Mashonaland, were they genuine in the first place? And then you look at it and you say, after independence, were people genuine with having a unitary state? We always argue on this point and say, what Zimbabwe is saying from its constitution to say Zimbabwe is a unitary state, that was a decoy. That was an element to try to blind people to believe that Zimbabwe is a unitary state. But Zimbabwe is not a unitary state. Even a child, a grade 1 child, can tell you that there is unfairness in Zimbabwe. Do you understand? And those elements, they continue to permeate down to everyone, and it becomes a generational problem, which I believe that the solutions to this have not been found. And I don't know if the reason why the solutions are not found is because of ZANU-PF, or is because of the leaders that are currently there, because they were directly involved in expediting or in perpetrating such forms of divide and rule. You cannot run away from the element of Shona and Ndebele in Zimbabwe. The moment someone comes out of school, has got 15 A's, they apply at NAST, they'll be rejected just because he has got a name Velile. So Velile, who is Velile? So put aside. You understand? Then someone who is coming from a shore systematically, automatically enters. When you say everyone is dead, but this has been created in a form to marginalize the people of Matabeleland, to a point that we are talking of millions of our people. We saw the exodus of many people in 2008. It is now that people from Mashonaland are beginning to realize that there's a problem in Zimbabwe. But of late, they were favored by the system. Our people have been marginalized, they've been pushed out of the border. We have got millions of our people. Right now, we are talking of our people that are yet to face another genocide in South Africa. Through these Dudula and all these, whatever you call them, our people are the ones that are going to be dying here. We have a record of our brother who was burnt to ashes. You see, at the end of the day, our people are hanging in the air. They don't even know if they belong to Zimbabwe. Come around here and ask a lot of people that are in South Africa, in Botswana, and different places. They will tell you that they do not have that confidence to say they are Zimbabweans. And when you raise those issues, they say you're tribal. But what you are raising are issues that the government of Zimbabwe or Zimbabwe itself has failed to raise. So we always say and argue and say, the day people from Mashonaland are going to stand up and call for justice for issues like Kukuraundi, for issues of marginalization, that's when I would believe that Zimbabwe is a unitary state. But in the meantime, we have never heard people from Mashonaland coming up and saying, why are you marginalizing the people of Matabeleland? Because they are benefiting from the system. When it comes to employment, I put my CV, someone from Mashonaland puts their CV, my CV is pushed aside, is thrown to the dustbin. Someone from Mashonaland is considered in front of me. Do you understand? So those elements are the issues that we as MRP are dealing with. And I want to remind you that when we formed MRP, it was a pressure group. Our ideal was, let's defend our territory. Let's defend our resources because our people are being displaced, but we've got resources, Matabeleland. We have got enough employment for the people of Matabeleland, but all of them have been pushed out. And then we formed Mthwakazi. And when we were forming Mthwakazi, the idea was we cannot continue to allow our people to go and have South Africa to become their home, while these days their home here in Zimbabwe. So we said, let's defend our territory. And then later on, we had to end up getting into elections. But our mandate was to defend our territory. And our mandate was to say, let's prove it. If Zimbabwe is a unitary state, let's prove it. You are moving out of Zimbabwe. And we are standing with that way that let's divide Zimbabwe because it is already divided. There is no one who can argue on that point. Zimbabwe is divided as a two-nation state. Without going to the history and the records of, you say, there was Matabeleland and Mashonaland, but we are trying to look at that, nations are being built. But if nations are being built, was Zimbabwe built to become a nation, or Zimbabwe is growing as a two-nation state? That's the question that I am even prepared to ask anyone from the government, even the president himself, and say, President, tell me, do you believe yourself that Zimbabwe is a unitary state? If Zimbabwe is a unitary state, where are the results of that unity within Zimbabwe? Because we saw how ZAP was destroyed to form one-party state. And we saw how zebra countries were destroyed. But they fought. Some of them are dying as paupers today. But they fought relentlessly to free Zimbabwe. But at the end of the day, it looks like they're only fighting to liberate Mashonaland. And then Matabeleland remains as a people that still need to fight for their freedom. That's what you're doing. We're saying Matabeleland was not freed when 1980 came. But now we are saying we have to take up and stand up as a generation and begin to see how we can free Matabeleland. So going back to the question of the elections, what we are so interested in right now is to control our resources. That's more fundamental to us, to control our resources. That's why our focus is on defending our land, defending our resources, defending our people, defending everything that is to do with the people of Matabeleland, because we want to bring back that entitlement. Because people of Matabeleland, they have had a lot that they have gone through. They have suffered a lot to a point that they have lost hope in Zimbabwe. Who is going to restore that hope when Zimbabwe is failing to even constitute an independent inquiry on what is happening on the ground, to come up with solutions? No solutions are coming up forth. Then when the people are rising up to defend themselves, then they are labeled as dissenters, they are labeled as tribalists, they are labeled as people who are divisive, of which is not true. We are standing to correct the things that the government of Zimbabwe failed to correct 40 years ago.
All right. That is, I hear you, Mr. Moyo, in what you're saying. I'm going to give Noma your turn to talk to the viewers. But those that are joining us, viewers and listeners, we are here on JCTV Africa in Matabeleland TV Live. We are broadcasting and we are in conversation with Mr. Velile D. Moyo, the spokesperson of Mthwakazi Rebuplic Party. And we are looking at issues that are happening. Their members have been arrested. And the question that I just asked him now, he is talking about the marginalization of the people of Matabeleland in Zimbabwe. And it is evident in the people then having to leave Zimbabwe and coming to South Africa so that they can look for greener pastures. Not only that, but also being pushed out of the system. And he's saying that our mandate is to make sure that we restore that and we defend our territory. Over to you, Noma.
Mr. Velile Moyo, what is your message to the people of Matabeleland as we are approaching the elections?
Yeah, for the people of Matabeleland, what we can say is our people need to recognize that there is a need for us as the people of Mthwakazi to determine who we are and to determine how we control what belongs to us. So what is more important for us as the people of Mthwakazi right now, despite or regardless where people are from their various political parties and those who are not political, we are simply saying politics has become a game in Zimbabwe. And as politics has become a game in Zimbabwe, there are a lot of stratagem or devised ways that are used when it comes to elections, where people will come and pretend as if they do have solutions, while in effect they do not have any solutions. You know, if I can ask anyone from Matabeleland why they have been voting for ZANU-PF for the past 40 years, you'll discover that there is no really reason to actually say we have been voting for ZANU-PF because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. You understand? I'm not campaigning ZANU-PF, but I'm trying to raise a point to say ZANU-PF has made people to. And some of the problems that you are going through were created by ZANU-PF itself, and they know it. ZANU-PF, the countries from ZANU-PF, they know it, and they are not willing to correct those things. And what you're simply saying is, from the people of Matabeleland, let them not be deceived by anybody. I know what we as MRP is bringing may somehow sound a little bit not okay because we sound as if we are tribal. But remember, for you to deal with issues of tribalism, you might sound as if you're tribal. But the truth of the matter is, if we were tribal, we would have been voting tribal for the past 40 years. But we have never been tribal as the people of Matabeleland. We have been voting people in power irrespective of their ethnicity. That shows us that as the people of Matabeleland, we are people that are not tribal. But now that there is an issue that we need to correct, that we failed to correct it democratically by failing to have enough control and power over determining ourselves, it is now the time for us to rethink politics in Zimbabwe. Forget about what we have been doing for the past 40 years. Let's start a new page let's begin a new page. Let's reorient because we're reoriented. Let's reorient ourselves, go back to the drawing board and look at the cost of our vote. It's high time. Our parents at home, they have their vote stolen or they just give their vote for free. It's high time now that we demand the people of Matabeleland to say any political party that is coming in Matabeleland to claim our vote. First of all, we need to ask them, how are they going to deal with the challenges of Matabeleland? If they do not have a solution for the issues of Matabeleland, they should then not get our vote. We should sell our vote for a price. That's the message that I'm giving to people of Matabeleland. Let's reserve our vote for a price. Let's not sell ourselves cheap. We have been doing this for the past 40 years. That's why we have lost so much political power and political will, because we've been just taking our vote for granted for the sake of elections. But it's high time that as we get to 2023, let's open our eyes and sell our vote for a price. If a person has nothing to offer to help Matabeleland improve from his current situation, why should you vote for that person? That is the message that I'm bringing to our people in Matabeleland.
Ubaba Moyo awuthi fahla ngesindebele kubabukeli bethu.
Okay, ngiyabonga ke ngamafishane ke esikushoyo njengebandla leMthwakazi Rebuplic Party sithi thina ke abantu bakithi sesithi isikhathi sihlupheka ngenxa yokuthi besingazange sihlale phansi sikhangele ukuthi ipolitiki yeZimbabwe isebenza kanjani, njalo ukuthi isibulela kanjani nje abantu beMatabeleland. Kusizana ukuthi uthathe ivoti lakho uyelinika umuntu ongasoza kusize ngalutho. So esikutshoyo ukuthi njengabantu beMatabeleland ake sibuyele nini ku drawing board. Kule need one yokuthi ngabe siya unite njengabantu beMatabeleland ukwenzela ukuthi sicontrol i-territory yethu. Yebo ekuzama ukutshengisa njenge-MRP ukuthi hayi bantu beMatabeleland ake siphaphame nini, ke sibone ukuthi ke kunini sihlukunyezwa kanjalo. Ungabasola abantu abakuhlukumezayo, but kule statement esesilungu esithi sona ke wena njengomuntu who is the oppressed, your mind, the mind of the oppressed, you understand? Wena ma oppressed uba nguwe onika i-oppressor yakho amandla, ngoba wena uyavuma konke. Kodwa nasekwesikhathi sokuthi ke ake simene kancane ke sibuke ama challenges esemaningi kakhulu asekhule abamaningi kakhulu. Sekuyisikhathi sokuthi ke sitshintshe indlela esenza ngayo. Thina masilukhali sikhangela indaba yonke le, ungangcono ukuthi kuthiwe asiqale nini phansi katsha indlela yepolitiki yethu njengabantu beMatabeleland. Ungangcono njengabantu beMatabeleland sime sodwa silungise okwethu than ukugijimisa i-national politics engasisizi ngalutho. Ingizwe kahle, i-national politics ikhona eZimbabwe kodwa ayisizanga ngalutho for iminyaka engu-40. Ake sikukhangeleni sikubone lokhu. Kuyafana nokuthi sithi we are in the global world, semhlabeni wonke ogcweleyo, sibe sibhizi sithatha ama-resources ethu siwasa e-America, thina singasizakali ngalutho. Sibe sithi hayi is a global world, kumbe sithi hayi is a united world, is a United Nations. No, as much as there is the national aspect kulalokhu okunokwenza ngobuzwe beZimbabwe, ake simeni ukugijimisa kakhulu, ke sikhangele ama-problems ethu yabantu beMatabeleland. Ake sithatheni ivoti yethu siyinciche umuntu ongeke asisize ngalutho, sithathe makusenza ukuthi sithi thina ke kuma-political parties wonke akhona akule samvotela sathatha wethu umuntu esimsusa phansi thina sithi nangu wethu esimbumbayo siyamfaka lo lobe ezaba independent. Ungangcono senze njalo kodwa sifake abantu abazamela iMatabeleland, hayi ukuvotela ama-political party. Yikho lapha engibe le problem khona le ndaba yokuthi siyahlangana. Ukuhlangana lokho yikho kusibulalayo, ngoba uthatha ama-political party atshiyeneyo wahlanganisi alama-agenda atshiyeneyo. Mase ufika laphana ke sekuvotiwe siphele indaba yonke la kusela muntu okhulumayo. Abantu sebekuyela ku-situation ethi yekelanini abantu badile ama-indigenous and local problems abo ngendlela yabo. Mina ngesizwe sami ukuthi into ama-political parties later eMatabeleland sifuna ukuthi siyiqede. Yikho mina ngithi ungangcono ukuthi ama-political party eMatabeleland kumbe amangaki, ungangcono ukuthi akhulumisana athi ndoda ngena laphana ngena laphana ngena laphana sithathe namavoti. ukwenzela ukuthi sicontrol iMatabeleland ngoba masiqhubeka thina sithengisa amavoti ethu siwanika nje abantu on a national basis i-national agenda yakhona ekuthiwa unitary state engasisizi ngalutho ukusiza ngani thina. Ngakho-ke ngiyagqugquzela ngithi mina-ke abantu beMatabeleland esikuletha njenge-MRP ukuthi sivuse abantu emaqandeni. Abantu for iminyaka engu-40 ade sebele-dependency syndrome yokuthi hayi usizo lwethu luzavele eHarare, akula sizo luzavele eHarare, usizo lwethu likithi nje abantu beMatabeleland. Let's stand up and defend our territory. Asiphakamenini silweleke amalungelo ethu lezigaba zethu lezindawo zethu. Yabo.
All right, over to you, Noma.
Babukeli beMatabeleland Television Live, siyabonga ukusibukela. Sikhuluma lo mnumzana uvelile Moyo, uspokesperson we-MRP. Sikhuluma ngendaba ezibucayi kakhulu lapho sibone khona amalunga e-MRP ayi-9 egwetshwa khona phakathi kweviki lapha. Sobe sikhuluma ngalolu daba okwanamhla siyalivalelisa sithi siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi lisibukele. uMr Velile Moyo sicela uvalelisa ababukeli Kenan ubusuthatha over then bese sivala.
Hayi siyabonga kakhulu babukeli noma ngingaliboni kodwa siyabonga kakhulu ngiza kuya lami ngiye ku Facebook ngiyolandela inkulumo kumbe ama-comments ebeliwafaka azasincedisa lathi elingabe likusola elingabe likubuka njalo engabe ke likukhuthaza konke lembuzo yenu. Sizangena ke egumbini lwe-Facebook sizama ukuthi ke sizwe ukuthi lithini ukwenzela ukuthi sisebenze lathi ke masiqhubeka siya phambili ngomzabalazo wethu. Ngiyabonga isale kahle.
Just a quick one, Mr. Velile Moyo. You spoke, great points here in this show, and something that I managed to pick up here is that there is someone who is there, who is a Shona, who is probably based in Matabeleland, and
Yes.
you want to win them over onto your side, who had a different perspective. And I was seeing a lot of people that were saying that Mthwakazi must just leave these things and stop nonsense that they are doing. What words can you tell someone who has been having this misconception about your party and what you are trying to achieve in the upcoming elections? Maybe in short, just tell, maybe talk to that viewer and talk to that person to say, this is maybe the perception that we had, but it's not that. Can you maybe tell them in short what you intend to do in the upcoming elections and what you want them to see happening in Matabeleland?
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Let me use English because I believe most of the people that are asking are from Mashonaland. There is this notion to say we are a tribal party. The truth of the matter is we are not a tribal party and we have never been tribal. And we are not fighting any tribe at all. But we are simply trying to correct some of the things that were done by the government of Zimbabwe deliberately from the very start of Zimbabwe. In 1979, they formed a grand plan. I will be willing even to share that grand plan for those who have never seen it. Okay. That becomes the backdrop of some of these activities that you see. So many people have fallen into the system because the system was created as a way to marginalize the people of Matabeleland. And when we are responding to this, we definitely will sound tribal. And also on the issue of our reaction, like when people have been oppressed for quite a long time, you must expect them to react in a more aggressive way. The aggression that you see and the militant approach that you see from Matabeleland people, you need to view it from a people that have been oppressed for quite a long time, who feel that enough is enough. So when they feel that enough is enough, these people are saying it's time for us to rise up and defend ourselves because it looks like no one is willing to serve our predicament. So for the people, let's say someone who is Shona, we really need them to understand that the people of Matabeleland, we would even love to see that happening in Manyikaland. If Manyikaland feels that they are oppressed, they don't need to feel ashamed to stand up and say, we are Manyika. And we are defending ourselves because of all this time we have had people coming in within our territory and taking our resources. There's nothing wrong with that. We definitely would even want to see people defending their own territories from various places. That would be something that would be okay for us. We are not ganging up against the people of Mashonaland, but we are simply saying, let's correct the wrongs of the past. And then in our agitation, we will sound as if we are angry, we will sound as if we are tribal, we have hatred, we are this and this. But look, the government of Zimbabwe has pushed us to all these limits. Some of the people have been oppressed. The dawn of Ukurawundi made people to be silenced and people were dying inside. But now people are exploding. And this is a result of what the government has been oppressing for quite a long time. And people are venting out. And the government itself must come to an understanding to say, these people are angry and they're venting out, but the government itself is not coming up with solutions. That's the very problem that we have, because if the government was so eager and concerned about what is happening, they would have acted on it a long time ago. They would have come up with solutions. I want to tell you that MRP was not going to be formed if the government had dealt with these issues amicably, respectfully, democratically, and they have respected the rights of each and every person. But they continue. We're talking of our members that have been slapped with a political decision sentence and they have been thrown into prison. You look at that, look at it, what impact it has on the society. Definitely, when I look at it, I'll say this is a tribal decision because these people, they hate us. So the reason why they are throwing us into prison is a way to silence us. So that is an agitation already that comes up into when people are standing up and they are crying and they are making all that noise. Do not judge them wrongly and say these people are the people are agitated, Zimbabwe is bleeding, and if it has to heal, I don't know where that is going to come from. But we, as the people of Mthwakazi, as MRP, we are advocating to say there is no solution in Zimbabwe. Secession becomes the solution. And remember, secession is also protected by the United Nations. We have a right to self-determination. That's why we are not ashamed to talk about it. It is a right that each and every people that feel that they've been oppressed for quite a long time, they can stand up and defend themselves and apply for self-determination and seek self-determination. So self-determination is something that we are seeking. But I want to say holistically, as Mthwakazi, we are not tribal. As Mthwakazi, we are a people that are inclusive. Yes, we have been coexisting until we're pushed to the limit. We are a nation that has got about 13 tribes. We are fighting to have Kalangas. We are fighting to have Tongas. We are fighting to have Tswanas. We are fighting to have Xhosas. We are fighting to have Nyasas. We are fighting to have everyone represented. That's the mandate that we are fighting for as people. We are saying, why should other people be oppressed by other people? In Mthwakazi, we believe everyone is equal. Whether you are coming
All right. We seem to trying to reconnect with Mr. Moyo there, giving us, very, very important points about his stance and their party stance on the issue of Mthwakazi. There you have it to those that do not understand their stance on what is happening in Zimbabwe. I hope you have learned something. I also have learned something that it stems from the pain and it stems from the what they've gone through. And I commiserate with the people of Mthwakazi because I've seen the oppression happening. I've seen people being marginalized or people being sidelined out of an opportunity just because of the fact that they are from Mthwakazi. And for me, it is unfair and it is not right. Ngako-ke ababukeli Mthwakazi Television Live, it's me, your brother from the other side of Mashonaland, and I am with you. And I'm saying that I understand your pain. I feel your pain. That's why I team up with Noma Zulu and we talk about these issues, because our goal is we want to start by uniting each other as a nation, and not only that, but also correct these wrongs and correct the stereotypes and the misgivings esizitholayo in the streets, that you then find umuntu ati uyumndebere or something like that. For me, it is uncalled for, and I don't view anyone who is Ndebele, Kalanga, or Tonga that way, because I understand that we need to build a stronger state, and we have great minds that are from the Matabeleland. And for your own information, to those that didn't know, on my wedding, my brother, who was my best man, is actually coming from Matabeleland. My brother Patisani Asbanda, he is from Kwanda, Gwatemba. My brother was my best man on my wedding. So I have a very soft spot for people of Matabeleland. And also, the other thing that also makes me to be having a soft spot for Matabeleland people is because my sister is also from Matabeleland. So that is where I have my soft spot for people of Matabeleland. And if I see someone trying to sideline them, I call that out, because for me it is not good. But anyway, I really want to thank you to everyone that has joined us. Unfortunately, Nomazulu, I think she's out. But thank you. Please share this live broadcast, and sinethemba lokuthi ubaba uMoyo uzabuya futhi kule program, and simbuze-ke ngumkankaso wabo on the upcoming elections ukuthi bazobe basiphatheleni. We want to accommodate every party from every corner of Zimbabwe in the upcoming elections. That is the goal of this channel, and we want to make sure that information, every party must be given an opportunity to say whatever they want to say, and they can also get an opportunity here on this platform. On that note, ngiyabonga ke abantu bami baseMatabeleland, Kalanga, Sotho, Xhosa, and everyone, and Shona, and everyone. Please, this is the platform where you want to come, and Matabeleland TV Live. Guys, I thank you for giving me an opportunity, and my sister Nomazulu Moyo, siyabonga kakhulu ngokuba lathi kule program. Sinethemba lokuthi kusasa sizabe sonke sikhuluma ngezindaba so zepolitiki, sinethemba lokuthi lizobe linathi. And on that note, I want to say vatariri pano pa JCTV Africa tinotenda nokuva nesu muchinzi waka mutauriri we Mthwakazi Republic Party achitaura nyaya yekuti ivo vanotarisirwa uko, vachitaura nyaya yekuti pangave pamabasa chaipo panogona kuti pakasanganikwa nemunhu anenge achitaura Ndebele, anogona kubva atonzi basa hapana nekuda kwokuti anotaura Ndebele. Izvozvo zvinoonekwa zvichiitika, haisi secret, zvinhu zvinogara zvichiitika. Saka nyaya iripo ndeyekuti for a long time pane kakusawirirana karipo. Tinoziva kuti karimo munyika dzese dziri muno muAfrica, asi takatarisana nenyika yedu yeZimbabwe, pane kakusawirirana katinako. Kakusawirirana ikako kanokonzera kuti tive nekusataudzana zvakanaka, and at the end of the day we end up fighting. So my call is, let's unite as a people, and then we can fight together our common enemy, and our common enemy is our leaders who cannot unite us. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, and we are going to be having a blast of a political Sunday, and I'll see you then. From me and my sister Nomazulu Moyo, it's a bye for now, and I'll see you next time. But before I do that, let me just read some of your comments. Amanye ngeke ngiwafake la, but I want to read some of your comments. I have my brother here, More Boys Munetsi. Thank you so much for joining me, my brother, from Great Hope. And then there's here Spiwe Mdluli, libanjwa lulu grand plan in TV, kuqunywe ngokuthula ilizwe masizwelana. Okay, I hope ukuthi I didn't mango isindebele lapho. Then there is yithe angasiko sibuyile, si family kanjani thina sicindezelwe. Yeah, I understand your pain, my brother, ukuthi there is that thing, but remember, our enemy is not me. The enemy is the people that are on top there that are creating that enmity. And we, the people, if we unite as a people we can, because the strength of our leaders is in the people. And if we, the people, refuse them, we can take them out. So that is my thing. That is my thing. I also want to see a president coming from Matabeleland. And I was watching one of the documentaries, just for me to, for clarity's sake, I was watching the documentaries that was done by Zenzele Ndebele. And if the grand plan that was there to make Ubabu Joshua Nkomo the president, and Robert Mugabe was going to be one of the administrators, I'm sure our nation would be in a different state than it is now, because the man was a unifier. And for your own information, the reason why I also come out with this, my own brother was a personal assistant to Babu Joshua Nkomo. That's why I have all that knowledge. My own brother, he went to jail with Joshua Nkomo, to Wawa, and all these places in the 60s. So I have that kind of like personal touch of information, and I was revealed that plan, that the plan that was there, it was going to make Zimbabwe to be a great nation. Otherwise would be not where we are today. But anyway, it happened. It's in the past. But how can we correct that past? We can correct that past if we unite as a people and we cancel that culture of segregating one another as a people. And I understand my people from Matabeleland, they are the people who can actually speak Shona better than these Shonas speaking Ndebele. And it's very unfair to say, you see, most Ndebeles, you can say maybe 70% of Ndebeles, they can speak Shona, but 70% of Shonas, they don't speak Ndebele. And that is unfair. Mina, for your own information, I never had someone who teach me Ndebele. I taught myself Ndebele by reading the news. If I listen to the Shona news, I listen to the Ndebele news. And that's how I started teaching myself Ndebele. I never went to school to teach myself Ndebele, but I can converse with Ndebele with no problem in Ndebele, and you can see it. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much. Have a good evening. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow, and it's a bye for now.